What if your morning latte could pay for a full day of food, housing, and transport? In a world of skyrocketing inflation, a handful of destinations offer an unbelievable reality where a single dollar still holds immense purchasing power. Welcome to our journey into the world's most affordable nations. Today we are unlocking the true cost of living across 12 unique regions, shifting from bustling Asian markets to high-altitude South American plains. But beneath the surface of dirt-cheap street food and budget guest houses lies a fascinating economic paradox. While these places are a paradise for backpackers and remote workers, the local reality tells a completely different story. Get ready to discover what life actually looks like when your currency stretches to its absolute limit. Before we dive into our first destination, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an adventure. Which country do you think has the highest purchasing power? Drop your guesses in the comments below. Let's get started. Pakistan, the epicenter of the micro-budget meal. Imagine stepping straight into a historic, centuries-old bazaar, where the intense scent of spiced mutton and freshly baked naan bread fills the heavy air and walking away with a massive feast that costs less than a basic soft drink back in your home country. This is the everyday reality in Pakistan, a country that consistently ranks at the very top of global affordability and cost of living indexes. In the bustling, chaotic food streets of Lahore or Karachi, a hearty, steaming plate of savory biryani or a rich chickpea stew costs a mere fraction of a single dollar. The local markets are a complete sensory overload of vibrant colors, fragrant herbs, and shouting vendors, offering fresh agricultural produce at prices that genuinely seem frozen in time. For an international traveler or a digital nomad, the sheer purchasing power here feels like an authentic financial superpower. Renting a comfortable, modern apartment in a major metropolitan city or taking long-distance Uber rides across town can easily fit into a micro-budget that would be entirely spent in a single day in New York City or London. Yet, this extreme level of affordability reveals a sharp, unavoidable economic duality. The precise reason a single dollar buys so much here is that the local average income is correspondingly low. While a foreign traveler enjoys a luxurious, carefree lifestyle for pennies, local families must continuously navigate an economy where daily wages struggle desperately to keep pace with global financial shifts. It is a land of unmatched, legendary hospitality and astonishingly low prices. But it is also a place where every single cheap transaction directly reflects the complex economic pressures faced daily by the people who call it home. Bangladesh bargains amidst the urban surge. Moving further east, we enter the vibrant nation of Bangladesh, a country where the baseline cost of living is pinned tightly to the absolute floor of the global economy. In the chaotic, high-energy streets of the capital city of Dhaka, traditional, colorful rickshaws masterfully navigate through a massive sea of humanity, offering local point-to-point transport for just a bit of pocket change. The city's traditional wet markets and roadside street carts provide an endless, fresh supply of local fish, lentils, and hot milk tea for mere cents. If you are actively looking for a place where your money stretches infinitely for basic survival needs, this mega-dense Delta country is completely unmatched worldwide. However, the incredibly low prices found here come with a very specific, undeniable trade-off: living and traveling amidst one of the highest human population densities on Earth. The sheer volume of people keeps domestic labor costs extremely low, which directly drives down the consumer price of services, home cooking, and daily necessities. Navigating this intense environment means willingly trading standard Western comforts for raw, unfiltered human energy. The streets are perpetually loud, the traffic jams are legendary, and the local infrastructure is constantly being pushed to its absolute physical limit. For budget-conscious travelers, it offers a fascinating, up-close look at an economy operating on pure volume. It is a unique place where life is lived completely out in the open, where a handful of loose coins can secure a full day's worth of traditional food, and where the bustling crowds create a vibrant, low-cost society unlike anywhere else on the globe. India, the ultimate frontier for budget travelers. Crossing the border into India, we find ourselves experiencing what has long been celebrated worldwide as the definitive spiritual home of budget travel. India offers a legendary, deeply entrenched infrastructure tailored specifically for saving money at every turn. From the massive, interconnected rail network that comfortably connects the entire subcontinent for just a few dollars per ticket, to the countless family-run guest houses warmly known as homestays. You can quite easily find yourself sitting back and sipping hot, fragrant chai on a cross-country sleeper train, or enjoying a massive, unlimited Southern Indian thali meal served on a banana leaf, all while spending less money than the price of a standard weekly streaming subscription. But to view India simply as a cheap, convenient vacation spot is to entirely miss its deep structural contrasts. The country operates on two completely different tracks simultaneously. In the physical shadow of hypermodern tech hubs, glistening skyscrapers, and luxury high-rises, Millions of local people still live in profound poverty. This vast, striking economic gap is exactly what keeps daily consumer items so incredibly inexpensive for outsiders, because the domestic labor pool is so immense. Everything from a simple haircut to a personalized guided tour is priced to match local survival wages rather than foreign wallets. Slaying your daily travel budget here is incredibly easy, but it naturally forces you to confront the stark realities of global wealth distribution. It remains a deeply beautiful, hypnotic destination where you can live comfortably on a bare minimum shoestring budget, provided you are willing to look past the immediate surface of its dazzling economic contradictions. Nepal, living beneath the giants on a micro budget. Stepping directly into the majestic shadow of the world's highest peaks, Nepal welcomes us with an incredibly slow, deliberate, and peaceful pace of life where the baseline cost of human survival drops dramatically. In the winding, historic alleys of Kathmandu or along the tranquil, scenic lakeside of Pokhara, cozy local guest houses offer a warm, clean bed for the night for less than the cost of a basic fast food value meal in the West. Food here is basic, incredibly hearty, and remarkably cheap to come by. The beloved national dish, dal bhat, a highly nutritious, balanced platter of lentil soup, steamed rice, and spiced seasonal vegetables, is traditionally served with free, endless refills, making it an ultimate dream for anyone looking to stretch a single dollar to its absolute physical limit. But this extreme level of affordability is deeply and permanently tied to the rugged simplicity of the mountain landscape itself. Nepal relies heavily on localized subsistence farming and international tourism, meaning that locally produced items remain highly economical while manufactured. Imported goods carry a heavy financial premium. Outside the primary tourist hubs, daily life for the average Nepali is a profound masterclass in human resilience, relying heavily on physical labor and tight community ties rather than material wealth or consumer goods. For travelers, it offers a rare, transformative opportunity to completely disconnect from modern consumerism and live exceptionally well on next to nothing. It is a peaceful, spiritual realm where your money buys a front row seat to the Himalayas, wrapped entirely in a lifestyle that proves true contentment often costs very little. Cambodia, the kingdom of low-cost expat life. Heading deep into the heart of Southeast Asia, Cambodia quickly reveals itself as a massive, legendary hotspot for budget backpackers and retired expats alike. Across historic towns like Siem Reap, home to Angkor Wat, or the tranquil coastal retreat of Kampot, a refreshing glass of local draft beer costs a mere 50 cents, and a plate of fragrant, authentic fish amok curry will only set you back a couple of dollars. Agile motorized tuk-tuks zip through the busy streets offering incredibly cheap, cross-town rides, and modern Western-style apartments complete with rooftop swimming pools can be rented for monthly prices that would seem completely impossible in Western cities. This incredible, unmatched price-to-quality ratio has turned Cambodia into a premier global destination for long-term expats and digital nomads looking to radically maximize their daily lifestyle. Yet, if you step just a few miles outside the bustling, tourist-heavy expat enclaves, a very different and sobering picture of Cambodia emerges. In the rural provinces, public infrastructure can be incredibly fragile, and local families must constantly navigate a starkly developing economy where average wages remain incredibly low and quality healthcare is considered a luxury. The incredibly cheap lifestyle that foreigners enjoy in the major cities exists precisely because of this structural economic gap. It is a mesmerizing kingdom filled with ancient stone temples and famously smiling faces, offering a remarkably high quality of life for an outsider. While the nation still works hard behind the scenes to lift its rural populations into modern prosperity. Laos, the slowest clock in Southeast Asia. Right next door, Laos invites us into what is easily the most relaxed, peaceful, and tranquil nation in the entire region. Unlike its hyper-developed, fast-paced neighbors, this landlocked country has successfully resisted the frantic, overwhelming urge of rapid modernization, choosing instead to carefully preserve a peaceful traditional rhythm of life. In beautiful UNESCO-listed towns like Luang Prabang, you can quietly watch Buddhist monks gather morning alms at dawn before heading over to a local market where fresh, steaming noodle soups, slow-grilled meats, and vibrant tropical fruits cost a mere pittance. The remarkably low cost of living here is a direct, natural reflection of this unhurried, community-centric lifestyle. Because the local society remains heavily centered around seasonal agriculture and open-air traditional markets, daily living expenses stay incredibly minimal for everyone involved. However, this much slower pace of economic development also means that high-paying corporate jobs are incredibly scarce, causing many young local people to leave their families to find work across the border. For the conscious, slow traveler, Laos serves as a rare, authentic sanctuary where your money stretches remarkably far, not because of a chaotic corporate price war, but because life here is fundamentally designed around beautiful simplicity. It is a place where you pay very little to experience a beautifully preserved world of rich cultural traditions, pristine turquoise rivers, and an undeniable inner peace that money simply cannot buy anywhere else. Bolivia, high-altitude bargains on the roof of the Americas. Venturing far across the Atlantic to South America, Bolivia commands our full attention as the absolute lowest cost destination on the entire continent. Nestled incredibly high up in the rugged Andes Mountains, this landlocked nation operates on an economy that is largely separated from mainstream global consumer trends. In the dizzying high-altitude streets of La Paz or the sprawling, chaotic markets of El Alto, traditional indigenous vendors, affectionately known as cholitas, sell massive mounds of fresh potatoes, native grains, and local meats for mere pocket change. A hearty multi-course lunch at a neighborhood market stall, featuring a steaming bowl of traditional quinoa soup and perfectly roasted chicken, will barely make a visible dent in a single dollar bill. Public transit here is also famously budget-friendly. You can smoothly glide across the sky on the Mi Teleférico, which stands as the world's highest and longest urban cable car network for just a small fraction of a dollar per ride. However, this low-cost structure is directly and permanently bound to geographic and physical challenges. Living or traveling at well over 12,000 feet above sea level forces outsiders to go through a brutal, sometimes exhausting period of physical altitude adjustment. The air is remarkably thin, the mountain climate is intensely dry, and everyday physical movements require twice the effort. Domestic labor remains incredibly inexpensive because a massive percentage of the population works within the informal economy. For those brave travelers willing to adapt to the thin mountain air, Bolivia offers an unrivaled cultural wealth and a surprisingly low price tag, standing as a pristine, budget-friendly gateway to the untamed geography of the high Andes. Egypt, the foreign currency phenomenon. Stepping into North Africa, Egypt reveals a massive, striking economic paradox that works heavily in favor of anyone holding stable foreign cash. Along the bustling, historic banks of the Nile River in Cairo, or amidst the ancient, dusty alleys of Luxor, your money possesses a jaw-dropping level of raw purchasing power. The local street food scene is a spectacular, legendary budget paradise. A massive, highly filling bowl of kosheri, a traditional savory mix of lentils, pasta, rice, chickpeas, and a garlic-infused tomato sauce, can easily be bought for less than 50 cents. Traditional, centuries-old bazaars like the famous Khan el-Khalili hum with active, high-energy commerce where exquisite spices, perfumes, and textiles are traded for what feels like loose pocket change. This immense affordability is the direct structural result of intense currency devaluations and severe economic pressures that the nation has actively navigated over recent years. While a visiting tourist holding dollars enjoys luxury heritage hotels, historic tomb tours, and fantastic fine dining for rock-bottom rates, the local population feels the burning daily weight of domestic inflation. Because the Egyptian pound has shifted so dramatically against dominant foreign currencies, imported goods have soared in price for ordinary citizens, while local services remain incredibly cheap for tourists. It creates an ironic environment where budget travelers can live like royalty, soaking in the grandeur of the pharaohs on a microscopic budget, while simultaneously witnessing the profound resilience of an ancient society managing modern global economic waves. Uzbekistan, the affordable jewel of the Silk Road. Journeying deep into the heart of Central Asia, Uzbekistan stands out as an incredibly beautiful, historical marvel that remains shockingly light on the wallet. Majestic oasis cities like Samarkand, Bukhara, and Khiva look exactly like vibrant, hand-painted illustrations lifted from an ancient storybook, featuring towering turquoise domes, intricate mosaic tilework, and grand desert fortresses that have stood for centuries. Yet, the cost of admiring this magnificent, legendary Silk Road architecture is remarkably low. A night in a beautifully preserved, traditional boutique guest house costs less than a basic, crowded hostel bed in Western Europe, and traversing the vast country on its modern, sleek high-speed trains is an absolute financial steal. The local culinary scene is equally friendly to a tight budget. You can easily pull up a carved wooden seat at a bustling neighborhood chikana, traditional Central Asian tea house, and feast on a massive plate of plov, a fragrant, hearty dish of seasoned rice, tender mutton, and yellow carrots slow-cooked in a giant iron cauldron, accompanied by fresh clay oven bread and hot green tea for just a couple of dollars. While international tourism is expanding rapidly as the country opens its doors wider to the world, Uzbekistan has successfully kept its local pricing structures completely grounded. It offers a rare, elite-tier cultural experience where your travel budget can easily fund long, majestic cross-country journeys through the heart of nomadic history, all without ever feeling the financial pinch of typical global tourist traps. The expat escape, living the dream overseas. The incredible allure of these rock-bottom prices has triggered a massive global shift, drawing an ever-growing wave of digital nomads, remote corporate workers, and adventurous retirees entirely out of the traditional Western grid. When your baseline monthly living expenses drop from thousands of dollars down to just a few hundred, the entire psychological and physical structure of daily life changes. Suddenly, the constant, draining pressure of the daily corporate grind completely dissolves. Expats living in places like Cambodia or India find themselves easily able to afford daily restaurant meals, full-time domestic housekeeping, and beautiful apartments with panoramic city views. Luxuries that would be completely out of financial reach back in their home countries. But swapping your homeland for an ultra-cheap destination is rarely a seamless, stress-free transition. Beyond the highly romanticized social media feeds and filtered lifestyle vlogs lies a complex world of daily logistics challenges and deep cultural learning curves. Navigating local government bureaucracies for routine visa renewals can quickly turn into an endless, exhausting maze of paperwork, and basic infrastructure like high-speed internet or stable electricity can be notoriously unreliable during peak times. Then there is the profound daily language barrier, which can easily turn a simple trip to the neighborhood pharmacy or a local grocery market into a highly stressful misunderstanding. Living comfortably as a foreigner requires a heavy, continuous dose of patience and a genuine willingness to step far outside your comfort zone. It is a unique lifestyle choice that offers massive financial freedom, provided you are truly ready to trade familiar Western conveniences for the beautiful, unpredictable realities of a foreign culture. The economic engine, why the prices are pinned to the floor. To truly understand why these specific global destinations are so incredibly cheap for outsiders, we have to look past the colorful market stalls and examine the cold, hard mechanics of global economics. The primary driver of these ultra-low consumer costs is a stark systemic disparity in gross domestic product and average local incomes. In nations like Pakistan or Bangladesh, the local wage structure is completely detached from Western standards. Because the baseline cost of local labor is so inexpensive, every single step of the local production line, from growing organic vegetables to cutting hair or running a hospitality guest house, stays remarkably low. Another massive factor at play is the dramatic, ongoing devaluation of local currencies against dominant global trading units like the US dollar or the euro. When a country's currency dips due to political shifts, domestic inflation, or structural economic adjustments, foreign cash instantly gains a massive unnatural boost in raw purchasing power. Furthermore, many of these domestic economies operate heavily on physical cash and localized informal street markets rather than massive corporate retail chains. This structural setup completely eliminates massive corporate overhead costs and keeps the price of basic survival goods pegged directly to what the local population can actually afford to pay. It is a finely balanced, highly localized economic ecosystem where your foreign currency acts like a powerful financial multiplier, allowing you to access a world operating on a completely different financial frequency. The ultimate paradox, the duality of free market travel. This brings us directly to the profound, inescapable paradox that lies at the very heart of low-cost international travel. It is an undeniable, deeply uncomfortable truth. A destination that feels like a carefree, almost free playground for a visiting tourist can simultaneously be a place of intense, unrelenting financial struggle for the local people who live there permanently. The very same rock-bottom prices that allow an international backpacker to travel comfortably for months on end are a direct reflection of a domestic population navigating limited economic upward mobility, low average wages, and a punishingly high cost for imported necessities. Recognizing this stark economic duality is what truly separates a shallow, consumerist tourist from a deeply conscious global traveler. When you pay next to nothing for a delicious street-side meal or a long-distance taxi ride, that transaction directly represents someone's hard-earned livelihood and survival. This is precisely why actively supporting the hyper-local economy becomes so incredibly vital. Choosing to intentionally spend your money at family-run homestays, tipping generously for good service, and buying directly from local independent artisans ensures that your travel dollars go straight into the pockets of the community. These ultra-affordable nations are far more than just a collection of cheap price tags. They are vibrant, resilient societies offering an immense wealth of culture and history. By approaching them with genuine empathy, deep respect, and a desire to give back, we can enjoy the incredible gift of budget travel while honoring the beautiful communities that make it all possible. From the bustling street kitchens of Asia to the high-altitude markets of the Andes, our journey reveals that the world's cheapest countries offer far more than just rock-bottom price tags. They are vibrant, resilient societies navigating complex economic realities. While a single dollar can buy an entire meal for a traveler, it also represents the profound daily hustle of the local people. Ultimately, these budget frontiers teach us that the true value of travel isn't found in how little we spend, but in how deeply we connect with the communities that welcome us. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Where would your budget take you first? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next exploration.